We are live. Welcome back. Good to see you guys. Welcome back to the show. This is, what are we calling it these days? Hxro Labs Live. Same as it was in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Welcome back to the show on a ripping Tuesday, turnaround Tuesday. Back like cook crack, if that's the kind of rap you like to listen to. I've been enjoying the Diplomats lately. Back again, like Jewel, Santana, Cameron. Those guys took me through high school, and a couple bangers shuffled through my playlist the other day, and I was like, oh shit, I used to love that track. So that's fun. If you ever want to go to the gym and just lift, and you don't want to talk to anybody, and you just want a banging rap tune, throw on Crunk Music by the Diplomats. Very intense. Very fun. Okay. Bitcoin's ripping. Background music's a little high in the ear. I like it. I just need to take it down just a little bit. There you go. And we've got RL Tibble in the chat with first post and too much food, if you can believe it. He's got too much food. Brock rice, stuffing turkey. He's hoping to run out soon. I feel you, dude. It wasn't Thanksgiving where I'm from, but we have Thanksgiving, and it's very much the same. Yo from the pit. What up, Hero? And Nathaniel's in the house. Yeah, and the producer appreciates Dipset. Look, this is what we're looking at. You can see I was very zoomed in. I promised the producer at the start. I was like, I don't really want to talk about it all day. Like, I don't want to vent about this all day. But I caught. I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. If you don't, it's at randomtask555. You probably do, but because that's why you're here. But anyways. It'd be weird if you didn't already. Anyways, I caught a pretty sweet short hedge on Friday. I was feeling pretty fucking proud of myself because I'm not good at shorting, as you guys know. Apparently I'm still not, but we'll find out. Anyways, I caught a short hedge like way up here. I was just watching it on Friday. I was like, this is super sus. You know, Friday, long weekend. Doesn't seem like the kind of energy we're going to get to 40K on like, you know, closed markets kind of thing. And so I was zoomed in here on like the 3, 5, and 1 minute, and decided to like smash a short hedge against the highs, and then got down here. And my Twitter post was essentially about like, once it got down here, I took a long against this low. So I was like, if we do just chill and go higher, you know, I'll be long through that. I'll be short here. So essentially delta neutral through this, but wherever the next big move came, I would be on board with a pretty nice sized position on my exchange. And so the long got taken out, which was fine. It was like super tight. I mean, I think I got long here against that stop. So it was like a minimal loss. It was pretty much a break even, minus fees and a little bit. And anyways, I spent all of yesterday because I was like, oh, sweet. Like we dumped through the weekend, kind of like I expected. And then I spent most of yesterday, like through the New York Open down here, and then, you know, midday and then late afternoon, trying to get long against that short. And you say, well, RT, what do you mean trying? Just push the button. And it's like, yeah, I'm trying to manage risk. I'm trying to not screw up the position too. Like it's, you know, isolated margin, you can be short and long at the same time, and essentially just grab the profit that was baked into it already with like a long against it, and then, you know, see where it resolves from there. Because obviously now it looks like, feels like it's going to resolve higher. Having said that, you know, this isn't a very good spot to long ever. And that's probably the worst part. Anyways, long story short, I did not get the long I wanted. I got in and out of a couple positions. I ended up shaking myself out while I was on a phone call. So like, you know, don't touch your trades while you're on a call just because you feel like something's going to happen while you're on it. Lesson learned. I wrote it in my journal, so it's official now. Anyways, I'm not in the long. And then of course today, just like tortured, right? Torture, watching the short hedge really go back to where I wanted it to be, which was stopped out, but I wanted that, you know, I wanted that other side. So watching some P&L disappear today on the one side while not being on the other side. Anyways, we'll rail this during the stream today. We just had like a little tiny 1 minute wedge breakdown. The volume is so strong in this. It was either a sick short squeeze and we are fucked for the next like 4 or 5 weeks, or we're just going to head higher, which is obviously the way I'm leaning right now. But fun fact, just so we can all be excited about what's really going on, that's where my break even is. So I think it's a good, you know, it's about to get smoked. Obviously it came within like $30, like just as we were about to go live. I was like, go bigger. Anyways, that's, you know, we're here together. We're on stream together. Like I need you to be emotionally with me here. So that's what I'm dealing with. And you know what? I'm torn because I want the market to moon. I have so much exposure to this market. So all of this to say, like, if anything, I'm just disappointed that I didn't catch that spread the way I wanted to, like catching the long at the long. But the reason I have this red line here is because that on perps was where we had this huge wick before. On spot markets, it's actually a little lower, like quite a bit lower, like 100. So you could argue we've already cleared that on the more important one, I guess you could say is slightly more important spot. Anyways, we're going higher. I'm almost certain. I've written it off as like break even. Okay. So all that minus fees, I just didn't make anything. Not very exciting. But what I really want to get into is altcoins. I'm going to look to you guys in the pit and in the chat to drop some of your favorites right now. I know Solana altcoins are going a little wild. I'll put a bird's eye, Atlas, some gaming stuff. So I was on Twitter, shit posting on Saturday night, and there was a really interesting pattern that came up. See if I can pull it up actually. I was just going off. I had like 3 glasses of wine, which for me is like drunk dad status. Like that's about as much as I drink when I have 3 babies in the house that at any moment could need something. So I don't really get on the sauce too often. So 3 was me feeling pretty good about myself. And I got on Twitter and I posted this about ILV, which was basically saying, like, if you're feeling bearish in this market, take a look at this chart. This is just not a chart where, it's a profitable behavior to like feel like macro high time frame bearish when charts look like this. And it's not obviously the only chart that looks like this. There's a lot breaking out of these like weekly W's, rising volume. Like that's just when you look back at the start of almost any bull cycle in a coin, this is what it looks like at the start. And that's not to say that this thing couldn't dip to like $70, $60, $40 before we go. Well, 40 is the low, so it's not going to do that probably if it's going. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not to say that this is a perfect entry. It's just to say like you shouldn't feel bearish when you look at a chart like this. And it was crazy to me that the comments I got within an hour, so maybe it's primetime Saturday night, whatever it is, more comments than I ever get, and they were all saying the same thing, which is basically like coins had huge dilution. You should look at the market cap charts. You should look at the market cap charts. Bro, check out the market cap charts. And it was crazy to me. I was like, what's happening right now? Like, I'm in the fucking twilight zone. Like, what's up with this market cap commentary? I've never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of that. I've never heard of people saying like the alpha is to make sure you watch market caps because, coins can be deceiving. And I get it. You get inflation, all this stuff. But my whole thing is like, dude, if this thing's ripping, and it's showing this kind of bullish setup, and it's got high inflation. Like high inflation, sure, took it down like this while the market cap probably stayed flat or went up. But if it's still just pumping out new tokens and it's still showing this, I think that's a point for the bulls. I think it's like what you're really saying is despite that inflation, despite these team unlocks, VC unlocks, whatever it is, this coin, this token has started to rip higher. There's big buyers, more buyers than sellers, even though there's all that new token in the seller's hands, potential seller's hands. So I was like reading it as like major cope. I don't know how you guys saw it, if you've been seeing this kind of chat. But to me, it just felt like this massive indicator of like, we're in this disbelief phase for tokens like this. And it's probably people that have held ILV. I've never held ILV. I passed on it back here and then I watched it moon. So I have my own reasons to cope about ILV, but right now, like I certainly wasn't like some bag holder, and I think that's probably it, right? Like through this period of 2022, and then really most of 2023, this thing was just chilling. Let's go look live at the chart right now. Got an old favorite up there, ID. Let's go take a look at that today as well. It's ripping low volume. I mean, low liquidity though, so it's like I don't know how much I trust that pump, but we'll take a look at that later. But like. Yeah, so this thing chilled at like $40 for months, and we looked at it over at my fund. We banged out a little free position on this rally. I myself did not buy any. It was like such a dunk for a double from 40, and even if it didn't, I'm gonna just fix this up. Basically, do this while talking, not quite. And if it didn't, like basically on the call we had probably sometime in August. Might have been right here, July or August or September. I don't know. It was one of like around the 45 level. And, our take was basically like, look, we could just get long on this thing, and if it loses $38, like these lows in earnest, like if it just closes something below that, we'll just get out, take a little hit, but that's a big level. And if it doesn't lose that level, you've got your infinite upside, right? You've got your whole cycle upside. You definitely got a double pretty soon after. I don't think the double took long at all. It was like you just picked mid range there, and it was still only like, still within range here. It was like a double. So we have some at the fund. We've picked some up. We like the gaming stuff. I myself don't have any. Point is, on Twitter, this kind of disbelief of this rally was very striking to me. Out of nowhere. I've not heard of any of this, like, the alpha is to like check market cap charts right now. And the market cap charts are okay. I like to use CoinTrader Pro for them. Let's pull it up. CoinTrader Pro, yeah. CoinTrader Pro charts, because you can chart things. So that's the Gala market cap. I thought that's interesting. Another gaming coin. Fun fact, I always like to share my losses on here. It's easy to just like win all the time and talk about winning all the time and like pretend you never lose. But I had a bag of this for a long time, and I think it was right here. I sold it like 2 days before a Binance listing, and then it chilled for like a couple months, and then it just went bleh. So that's fun. Yeah, that's what I remember about Gala. Anyways, this is the Gala market cap chart, and so it came off really hard, and it hasn't really inflated, right? So I guess the problem is, like, people are saying, if you see price going down but market cap is staying flat, that means there's a lot of inflation, or God forbid market cap's going up. It's insane inflation. I don't know. You don't want to see that. Like, I don't really care about market cap. It's good to know if your tokens have inflation, if you're trying to be an investor. But on something like ILV, like, look at this price chart. Prices, price rules everything. And if I can get in at 50, or in this case 100, I was kind of tweeting it out. I think it was like 109 at the time, and I'm just like looking at this chart, and I'm just. Yo, we back? Yeah. That was my VPN. My VPN just like was like, "You've been disconnected." Apparently the FBI found out I'm not from Mexico. Anyways, I'm back. So, my bad, guys. I turned it off, by the way. I don't really need a VPN for this, and I'm not gonna trade on the exchanges I use. Would never use a VPN to trade from a certain exchange. Up or down, you say? Evidently down, RT's connection. Yeah. Anyways, there's for the record, I don't have a bag of ILV. Our fund has a little one. I don't personally have one. Um, so I'm not here to show my book, although I should be. But I would say this: there's two ways to play this. Either you say, okay, we got the weekly W, which we got, and then you're just like, I'm just going to blindly ape in on a weekly W with a high volume breakout, and I'm just going to take my 2x and run, like sell half on a double. And I know some guys who trade like that. And then the key is just to trade down your size, right? It's not like, hey, I'm all in and manage that risk. We back? Looking live at the stream to the left. Oh, it's because I rewound it. We're back? Yeah, we're back. Okay. Anyways, or the more prudent approach, perhaps more chill, is to just like take the low. And I guess there's two ways to do this, but really on weekly W's, historically, I would go for the reload zone off the weekly W. At this point, obviously, you feel like, oh man, I'm for sure getting left behind, and that's why, and then you can find variance in those. You say, you know what, I'm going to put half my position here, try to get the double. If it does nuke on me, I'm going to double up. I'll end up with an average in the middle, and then I'll get the double. Either way, weekly W's are the most powerful signal you can get in price in crypto, in my IMO. So this one looks good. Gaming looks hot. Don't give a shit about the market cap. Don't give a shit about the dilution. Having said that, I don't have a bag. I'm getting organized, okay? I bought some TIA. On this dip. Let's go see TIA. Yeah, she ripped now. Is this the one? Is this the chart I want? Yeah, why not? Let's go. Actually, no, I think I have it on this chart. Yeah. So watching today, like it hipped this friggin' short reload zone 618, but really the setup was to take this pump chaser zone on the higher time frames, 4 hour, just look for that continuation trade. I really like this. I'd like to get the double. I'd like to have a free position. I've sized accordingly. I took a decent bag actually, and figured I'll double it if it comes back down here, into that sort of like post launch. I know there's some buzz going around on Twitter talking about similarities with the Solana launch, which ripped higher and then came back down and touched the post launch wick and then just went bananas. If it does something like that, I'm going to deploy heavily or heavierly into it. Right now, I've got a nice little position, and with this little W off the PCZ, I'm pretty good about that. So we're going to look to get a double off here or some kind of free position. Sometimes if I come into a lot of objectives, this is just one, but just say there was like a whole bunch of reasons here to nuke my position. Bearish divergence, failing volume, rest of the market looks like shit or overcooked, coming into this fib extension, and it's not quite 100% gain. I would still close it and take a free position. You just have to close a little more than half. Does that make sense? You end up getting all the money back you put in still and still having a free bag of tokens. So I've done that occasionally. I've been known to do such things, but that's where you get into overthinking. Probably better to let it rip to a double. So for now, that's what I'm planning to do. I would like to have more TIA. So down would be okay. If we dip into here and chill for a little longer and there's some buzz, I would probably add a little. But mostly it's like I'm set or I'm loading up down here. Which probably like it's actually below the 76. That's a pretty sweet dump. That would take a lot for now. But we'll see. The TIA is looking good. I don't know what it is. Modular blockchain sounds like a win. Yeah, well, that's the thing. And we talked about this a lot. Kenny and I like to talk about this when we were doing DeltaFi. Like the Gartner hype cycle. Cheers, by the way. Shout out to Glenn Fiddick. We're having an afternoon scotch with the homies on the stream. And it goes down smooth. So I'm on 2. And let's just cool it. All right. I've got some adulting to do in about 3 hours. So let's not get too day drunk on stream, okay, RT? Where you're just not paying attention and you start sipping, pour another one, and suddenly you're 5 deep. And they're all doubles too. I mean, who measures when you pour scotch in, right? You just kind of pour. Usually a double, probably technically doubles. Whatever. I've got spherical shaped cubes, and that's. I got the pit here, by the way, the chat. So if you guys want, put it in the YouTube chat or throw it in the pit chat. Let's look at some charts. Let's do some alts. I need you guys to help me. You guys are in the greasy corners of the universe, and I am parenting. So you give me something. I'll throw it on the grill. We'll cook it up. We'll make some money. How's that sound? I need ideas. My watch lists are out of date. I don't even know what's on here. AI? Yeah, there's a bunch of AI coins. Look, they're all doing good. 24 hours. There's a few. There's some green in the market. Singularity DAO. I noticed today AGIX looks sweet, cooking up out of this reload zone. Probably gonna have some legs. It's just getting into that point where it's like gradually, then suddenly. It's not quite ripping yet. I keep hearing about POKT in the pit, which tells me I am going to see a big old. Is this it though? Wrapped POKT? Yeah, I guess wrapped POKT. Let's go look at it. Yeah, I'm like, I know I'm gonna pull it up and it's just gonna be ripping. Okay. Wow, it was down to 2 cents. I forget where I was hearing about OTC, like last like 2020, 2021. Really early on, you could only trade this stuff OTC, and I was hearing about it. I don't know, did it run to $1? And I am thinking about 6 cents? Let's see. And then there was some inflation, but like the hype at the start. Oh, wow, yeah. Okay, here it is. I saw OTC. Wow, okay. Apparently we had this conversation. Saw OTC in the 5% range before this chart started. Yep. Yeah, so I did pass on it at like 5 cents years ago. And then I watched it kind of rip through the cycle, and then you got your inflation. Should we check the pocket network market cap? Market caps are ripping. Sweet. Huge. I'm just kidding. We don't check market caps on the stream. That's cope. More like market copes. So 2 cents, like, yeah, really sweet low. You guys know what I would say. I know you guys are in pockets, so I'd say just enjoy your life, you know. But if you're living the simple life, like a me, you're gonna have to wait for something like this. Or since it's pumping, we can get spicy. I mean, look, the market is ripping. Bitcoin looks happy. Global markets look happy. Like, let's take a look at equities. Let's not. They're looking happy. Yeah, I got my equities charts here. Mostly just watching all my crypto stocks, not actually charts. Look at coin. Coin's just taking off finally. We've got Galaxy just consolidating, probably going to follow. We got Mara starting to rip. Clean Spark starting to rip out of a much larger base, So yeah, I watch these. But like, let's see, is the Nasdaq ripping? Yeah, so boring. Indexes are so boring. But yeah, it's looking like it's flagging on the daily above yearly highs. So probably going to resolve bullish in January. If I had to be a Gary guesser, I'd say we're going to go higher there, just because money inflates. And okay, we've got some suggestions in the chat here. Let's look at GUAC. Talking about that pre-stream as well. This is one I was so impressed. We had them. I don't know if I was on that stream. I think I was on the stream, or I was either that or I was watching it, and Circa was running it. I forget which one, to be honest, but I was super impressed with them. I went to look at their chart, and it was something like this. Like, it was around this time, like early September. I was away. I don't know. Yeah, I was in Utah. Either way, I looked and it was ripping that day. So I decided to, like, okay, I'm going to chill, wait, and watch. Probably right before I went away for that trip. So like, oh god, it was right. Anyways, don't have a bet. Looks great, and it's only 10 mil FDV. That's the crazy thing. So that's the crazy thing, and I think I know I'm mid curving some of these Solana altcoins. Like, hate to have a conversation about GUAC today because it just looks fantastic, but it's not a buy for me. But as recently as like 7 days ago, it was basically chilling at where it was in September. So for all this, like, and I did look at it about twice through this. And it was like, ooh, like I kept looking at it on the days where it was probably because it's on the gainer list, right? So you got to have strategies in your toolkit that enable you to look at these coins when they're not on leaderboards. And a lot of people, most people, right? Because you talk about things on the leaderboard, you're more likely to see them on leaderboards. So then you're more likely to talk about them. You're more likely to talk about things when they're shooting up. And so the chats you're in are filled with people talking about the stuff. And most of the time I can just tell by the way the buzz is in the chat. I'm going to pull it up. It's like a double-digit gain day. And then I'm always a little resentful. I'm like, yo, where was that yesterday? Can I get a shout out the day before? Like, can anyone look past the double-digit gainers? And Good thing about the bull market, though, is the apes get rewarded. It doesn't matter. Just shot up 20%, don't care, buy it because it's gonna go another 20. Oh, pull back in your face? That's okay because next week it's gonna go higher. And that was my life in 2017. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even look at charts. I was just buying things based on randomness. I don't even know what it is. You got rewarded. You got bailed out. So that's your left curve, right? And then right curving is probably just being like, well, I know where to bull, and Solana's going to probably keep ripping, and 10 mil is low, and I'm mid curving. I'm like looking at this. I'm like, okay, find a dip, and then oops, forgot about it. So GUAC looks sick as a project. Really impressed with the interview they did on here, and it's at 10 mil market cap. So I will find an entry, even if it is like gross. I mean, honestly, right now I could just say, okay, like throw $500 in, whatever. I dare you to pull back, like just to like taunt the market, come back to give you some bells, some side, but I'm not going to. That's not the ones I wanted. Anyways, we're gonna go quicker through the charts. I'm just giving some time to GUAC because it's really ripping right now. But like this is it, right? It's pumping, so I'd have to just do a pump chaser, and that is going to hit. I mean, even reload zones, you can pretty much say with confidence at some point, even during a bull cycle, will hit. Like this pump chaser zone, it just hits all the time. So you follow price, and just keep trying to take this orange line all the way up, and it'll usually work. It'll work for getting you into the position. It doesn't always mean after you get in, it's going to keep going, but uh, you know, really slick pump chaser zone all through here, and then whoop. So that trade has happened already on this coin. I don't see why it can't happen again. But obviously, this chart just looks like fantastic for anyone who's holding. I think we can look at PYTH right on here. Volume's down 12%. But what about the market cap? Market cap is a couple bill, 4.3 bill, couple bills, couples. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know about PYTH. It's an airdrop token. It's huge. It's got a big market cap. It's got a ton of feeds. I guess you could do a comp with Link and decide how you're feeling about that. Let's pull Link up. PYTH is one where I'm just not too excited, given that it's billions and blah blah blah, and it's like everyone who has them pretty much has it for free, or was like probably early investor and has it for just way less than this. So fully diluted, yeah. I mean, you could catch a 3-4x2 match with Chainlink, and that's assuming Chainlink stands still, which seems very unlikely next year or two. So there's probably a ton of upside on PYTH globally. Zoomed out, thinking about that. If I wanted to be a trader here, I'd probably be pretty aggressive and just not want it to go back down there. So any longs I took, I'd be like, get out there. And if I want to be an investor, I'm probably just giving it time to just do whatever the hell it's going to do, and then it's ramping up buy volume and pushing up against the highs, and then like take a trade. Right now, I just don't see any reason to FOMO into it. It's going to be a player. It's going to be big. Now, here's a thing that I was thinking of the other day as I was talking about TIA, which, well, market cap, I don't even know what it is. It's not. I feel like it's below. Yeah, 6.4. Look, Ethereum is 248 billion. And at the highs, what was it? Market cap, max. At the highs, it was like, half a bill, 530 million. And so this is before. Okay, that's a good question, Meatfish. We're going to get to that. Before the adoption curve, I'm going to pull that up so people know what I'm talking about. I'm thinking of the S. Where is it? Yeah, okay. That's not really it. Anyways, I don't know where to find the right adoption curve that I'm looking for. There it is. Let's copy the image. Just slap it on this chart. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at for crypto. This is my viewpoint. You can disagree. That's okay. I think we're here, right? We're just in this place where, like, let's be honest. There's no killer dApps outside of crypto, unless you're thinking about, "Ooh, I'm gonna risk some money and invest some shit." There's nobody that's like, "Oh, man, like, I really wanna sign up for that app. That app is so cool, and it needs crypto to be integrated. It's got 1,000,000,000 users." Like, there's no killer dApp yet. Maybe one exists that hasn't hit that adoption, right? And so, all that to say, if Ethereum traded as high as a $500 million market cap during the last bull without the adoption curve, we all talk about, oh, like ETH's the biggest chain, it's the most popular chain. Dude, it's a peanut, right? Nobody uses Ethereum in the world, if you can say it like that. Right? Like, think about some other shit you might say, like, nobody cares about that. You can compare to the number of people that care about use or actively, like, daily active users. Maybe I'm like understating it, and there actually is quite a few users. But I think globally, we're just nowhere near anything remotely close to what we can say is some kind of adoption. So, going back to something like tea, which is ripping, but no ice. So you look at this, you say, okay, $6.4 billion market cap, but we're comparing it just say for now to Ethereum, which is 240, 250, got as high as 500. And wasn't even fully adopted, I would argue at that point. It was the most popular thing, popular kid in school for smart contracts. But think about when one of these is actually adopted, like some proper FU app where people who don't know they're using crypto join it and use it, whatever. You know what I mean? You all know it. These sub 10 million or sub $10 billion L1s, they have incredible upside. 100x ups. There I see. I'm not saying Tia's, I'm not sitting here like Tia's going to be the next 100x. I'm just saying don't be fooled by these relative price comparisons. And you say, well, like, ETH is this, and blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of people just playing around in the total muck, sub 1 mil market cap, sub 5 mil market cap, anything above 10 mil market cap. You're like, oh, there's no upside, or anything above 500 million market cap. You're like, oh, there's no upside. I would argue that the most quality things in the market are already somewhat priced as such, right? Like, so, you look at your top 100, top 200, they're there for a reason, most of them. And so it's just a time to pay attention to the top. I think personally, this is my approach to the market. Yeah, it's nice to find a few gems, and if you get a few like hot tips, somebody's like, "Yo, check this out. It looks like that thing over there that's mooning." Like, yeah, take your squawk box and grab a few gems. But my approach is to really spot the value that's in this top 100, 200, 300, because I think where we're headed in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years is where you can capture like this whole shit's going to 100x. My 2 cents. Or at least a handful from within. I don't know if I'd say like if we're at like a couple trillion already market cap, 1.5. I don't know if we're going to go 100 next few years. But all that to say, I think there's going to be some major winners on the L1 front. And Ethereum is just giving us a taste of what an L1 winner looks like. Ethereum should 10x if it's going to have its adoption curve. 5 trillion. It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy for a world computer filled with DeFi finance that carries big apps and all that stuff, right? So there's going to be some major, major winners. And, I don't know if Tia is going to be one of them. I actually haven't read a thing about it. I just feel like if I can catch a double in a free position, it's one I want to ride. The old sunset reposition. Anyways, that was a long rant to just kind of describe types of like the view I have of some of these larger cap, newer coins where it's very tempting to look and say, well, it's 6 billion. It's kind of like the opportunity's gone. It's like, yes, somebody's already made some real cash off that from an investment point of view. But the winners of the next cycle from $1 billion can still 100x, I think. Maybe the next 2, whatever, cycles. Unless we're going into a super cycle, in which case, hold on to your butt. Cass. Yeah, Cass has been ripping. Okay, question from Meatfish in the chat here says, most important question, what do you think about renewing your TV sub now that so many others are offering decent trading view integrations? It's up to you, man. It's really a financial question. I renewed my television trading view. Okay, let's have a drink to that. I renewed my TV subscription yesterday, or the other day, I should say. It's funny how they're like, Black Friday, oh, Cyber Monday. They've been harassing me for a week, but I already renewed it for a year. I love it. I mean, I love mostly that I can save things. So you get the adoption curve. I think that's probably where we're headed. But if you go here and you can save all these templates, that's a really key thing for me. As you guys see, when I go to like here, I don't get to save my template, right? There's no, you go to template, there's just apply default. There's nothing there. So I spend a lot of time live on the thing. Now let's see. Has Deck Screener got the templates? I don't think so. Settings, template, yeah, apply default. So you can't save templates. That's the major, like, all things. And I think the other major thing you get, which, is a tool, if you know how to use it and it's part of your tool set, then you kind of feel like you need it. That's the VPVR. You can find that in other places, but as far as I know, it comes with the premium TradingView subscription, and you don't get it on widgets and stuff. So again, it comes down to it. Like, is $1,000 a fifth of your portfolio? Probably don't pay for TradingView premium for a year, right? Are you trading 10K bags, like swapping in and out 10K slugs? Like, and you like TA a lot? You should buy TradingView to drop the money. Throw money at it. Who cares? So, personal question there. I love TradingView. I've had premium ever since I bought it. I've always renewed, and yes, now's the time to do it. They're like 70% off. I mean, it's crazy. Like even 2 months ago, actually, I had a 2-year one from like years ago, 2 years ago, exact, and it expired in like September, and I just waited. I just did like monthlies until I did the big one during this thing because it's such a good deal compared to what it is otherwise. Full Stack is dropping names, so we checked out POKT. It's ripping. And if you guys want, like, when we look at things, because a lot of times you say like, "Hey, check out this. It's my bag. It's pumping," and I'm just going to sit here and talk about pullbacks and reloads because it's like I'm thinking in terms of actionables for someone who's watching who doesn't already have a bag, who's maybe like, "Hey, like, should I buy 8 cents?" But if you're pulling up a token because of a specific thing, like, hey, like, add a question in there. Like, not here to give financial advice on what you should do with your tokens, but you might say something like, "Where's the chaos level on this token that I have a big bag of?" That's where it's nice to take profits. So very like, loosey goosey, vague questions. Oh my God, look at Cass. Check out that tag, or it's just, oh, oh, there it is. Casper is looking chaotic, to say the least. Sick pip at 15 cents. I would be getting paid there if I was like a holder of Casper through this. And I don't care what stories the Telegram or the Discord would tell me about where it's going in the future. Now, that doesn't mean I would sell out completely. You just heard what I said about these sick, alt L1s, if you will, where they could head through the next cycle. I'd be ashamed to be like early Casper bro, sitting in their Discord, whatever, hanging out, loving life, paying myself in 2023 and then watching it for like 10 years become the next best thing. So that's a $3 billion market cap, which I think, I think in the future, like right now, I think a lot of people think up into $1 billion is like where I can catch my multiples. It's like, oh, it's 100 mil market cap. I can get a 10x off that. Like everyone can imagine just about whatever hitting $1 billion. That's like your fairly easy target. I foresee a future where you see that as 100 billion. Right? So, oh man, if this thing's a winner, 100 billion is your top 100, minimum. Everything in the top 100 would be a $100 billion. Like, I feel like that's probably in my head where we're headed. So you might look at this and say like, oh, that's like the equivalent today of a 3 mil market cap. This is some mental gymnastics that helps me stay long and be bullish on this space. Despite some of these things looking crazy inflated, like feeling, because we're coming out of a bear market, right? So you got to find ways to overcome the cope, the disbelief. And so one of these thought experiments I do is like, where do I think the next cycle peak will take us, right? And I watched in 2017 as the top 100 tokens. You can do this too. I think there's a way to do it. Maybe we should just do it today. But you can check like coin market cap historical snapshots. You guys know how to do that? I haven't done it in a long time. Embarrassed myself here not to find it, but historical snapshots. There it is. Oh, that was easy. So let's go to like when I joined. So I was like pretty much this week. So here was your top 100. Market cap 29 billion. So your top 100 let's just use the top 100 index as a marker. So 6.5 million got you into the top 100. Okay. And it's probably more appropriate for the purposes of what I'm trying to say to go look at the cycle highs. So let's say like 2017 cycle highs were arguably like Jan 7 for altcoins, probably. Bitcoin had already fallen off. So let's look at your top 100 there, into that cycle. 374 million. Whoa. That was a huge leap. It was like a 60x. The 100th coin market cap as like a base market. So 374 mil got you into the top 100 in 2017's rip, right? And you had to have some imagination going through that bear market, 2018, 2019, to imagine getting value from something that was already at 374 mil. So maybe coming out of this bear, you're like, oh, this is something's already at 374 mil. It's already in the top 100. Like, how much higher can it go? And I guess we would want to look to like mid-November for the highs of this one. You get your 100, 1.2 bill. So 3x. So the low of this index, if we're calling the top 100 index, was like 3x between seconds. So maybe I'm being a little overzealous. My point is, these 10 bill, sub 10 bill alt L1s, I think have multiples in potential. And I just want to catch the first one. I just want to catch that double, catch that sweet, sweet double. And then you have to have some imagination. I mean, everything in the top 100 was over $1 billion at the last cycle peak. It's a huge lift from anything previous. So I guess the question is, we're speculators. Let's speculate. What will the top 100th coin market cap be for fun? Pretend it's going to be exactly the same as last time, December, November, like 2025. I feel like it could be 3 to 5 billion easily. And I think it could be higher than that. And then, of course, I view this market in like a 2025, 2030, 2035. Some of it's still going to be around. There will be a point where the speculation has worn off and it's either made it or not made it. And it's like, oh, man, like right now there's just so much potential for speculation still left that it's like absurd to think it won't continue. But at some point of like, man, we tried everything, all these things, and nobody cares. Like that would happen eventually. It's either going to shit or get off the pot someday. I think that day is not even close. It's like late 2020s before it's like, wow, there's still no killer DApp, Like for now, I don't really care that nobody uses this, nobody uses that. Like when people tell me that, they're like, oh, nobody uses and nobody's using crypto gaming. I'm like, bro, have you seen Grand Theft Auto 5? Yeah, it came out like 15 years ago. They're still building Grand Theft Auto 6 and they're teasing it now, finally. And then everyone's like 2 years into crypto gaming. They're like, it's not even a good game. I'm like, yeah, it takes a long time to build a game. It's really good. So, there's tons of room left for speculation. There will be a time when we've gone through that. Not there yet. Okay, I'm ranting hard today. Must be the scotch. Full Stack Creative pointed something out. He said, if there's ever a time to be the left curve, it's early cycle. 100% agree. He said, I bought GUAC on Monday and it was already up like 200%. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's, here's the thing. And I'm speaking personally now. I think I'm thinking too big about things. Like I look at GUAC, I'm like, oh, like what if it dumped on me? Like, okay, then just put in small amount. Right. And I think I'm thinking too big. I'm looking for things I can dunk some size into and like really ride. I don't know. Or I just don't have a preset. If I just picked up some slugs, because also what I do during these altcoin kind of rips is I get so spread out. You guys ever do that? And you're like, well, things are already ripping, so I can't put much size into it because it's too much risk and market cap to liquidity is a little low ratio. Like but I'm gonna put something in. And then you do that to like 5, 10, 20 coins, then you end up all ripped up across like 20 positions, and then eventually you end up nuking everything to come back to the base. Sorry again. I've had that happen to me before, so now I'm moving pretty methodically now, and I'm moving into things. Yeah. So yeah, GUAC looks good, dude. Tom Walsh says, "Can you speak about what you do if you have conviction in a spot bag, but it's not moving with the market?" Yeah, I sell it and go to something that's moving, and then I look back, and the thing that I had conviction in is ripping. So don't do that. Don't do what I do, kids. I stick to it, dude. Stick to it is 100% what I would say. And it's like it's uncanny how these things will move like the day you give up. It's like it feels cursed. It's not. Um, Sometimes it's just random, and other times it's just like the point where most people decided to give up. I sold my DSO here. Not that's like I lied to you guys just now. I sold it even later. I sold it. I don't know why I lied just now. Like as if an extra 5 days makes it less annoying and less awful. But like within 48 hours, it went up 20%. And like 5 chats, and were like, "Oh man, DSO is finally moving." And I'm like, "Shut up." And that's why because I sold it. It's like whatever. If I think it's going to be what I thought it was going to be, I can get back in. 20% is not the end of the world. But it was just funny. This it was a stable coin. This is the treasury value. Go figure. So I put something out on Twitter to that effect sometime through this trough, basically that the amount of Bitcoin that they hold in their treasury is something like 2,500 Bitcoin. So like an interesting proxy to Bitcoin. There is no equity on DSO, right? So all of that Bitcoin is technically owned by token holders. Now, there's no redemption process, but it's like you can deduce that that's as low as it should be valued, and that's why it kind of held there. And so I was just kind of loading it up bit by bit, and then finally I was like, man, like this is one of my biggest altcoin bags. Everything's mooning. What am I doing? This is not my highest conviction play. And so I rotated out of it, and then 2 days later it started. So I would say it's good to maybe say monthly. You should reassess your weight in the market and just be like, are my biggest positions the things that I am most bullish on? And just kind of ask yourself those questions and then do a little bit of balancing. That's the other thing too, is like I didn't have to like nuke the whole position. I did actually just rotate it to like 60% of it at first. And then finally, like I saw another coin I wanted to buy and I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to tap into my old DSO bank. And then I sold the rest of it. And those other coins definitely did not pump 20% the next day. I think they're ripping now, but you know, yeah. So it's hard. It's really hard to stick to it. But if you got in for a reason, and if it's part of your setup, and you've got like a reason, a bunch of reasons to be long from here, your day will come. Most altcoins days will come. Just be careful because trading the chase is super stressful, and most of the time, your ability to buy something very easily, like you're drawn to it. It's like the easiest thing you've ever done. It's like a bad time. At least that's my mid-curve take. I don't know. Ask full stack. Tom Walsh, you simply buy more. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like if you're thinking about rotating out and it's like painfully slow and it's just like chilling there, you can also use that as an excuse to be like, you know what, actually, I'm going to just take a little more. A little more. Check RLB. Go check RLB. RLB is a weird one for me. I've never owned any. We've talked about it pretty extensively on stream on various occasions. Basically, that I passed on it in like 2 cent trough, which was on another chart a little further back, and yeah, and I think that's because we're looking here. Yeah, I mean, I like it. Looks good, but I don't love the chart. But I mean, like company wise, yeah, I think through here is where I was just kind of like, like this was like April this year. This was a good example because I think there was some pretty good heat in the market in the spring, if I recall correctly. IIRC, and this guy was sitting so still and so quiet, and no one cared about it, and no one was talking about it. And I actually looked at it kind of going like, oh, interesting. Like it's on Solana. It seems like a lot of people are using the casino. Everyone seems to be talking about it. But the token sucks. I guess they, and my conclusion was like, oh, I guess the token sucks. Like I guess they haven't tied it to the value enough. And womp womp, that was at 2 cents. So like Yeah, build your conviction during troughs like this. I think this thing right now it's just trending up on a high enough time frame. It's probably trending down. Weekly's trending higher. On the weekly, it did make a new high, and the volume was less there. There was more buyers at this price, less buyers at that price. I think, obviously, we've seen the result that's been running in the team. I'm not going to buy RLB, but I like some of the copies, not copycats, but like something you could call like an echo. Winner is one that was on my radar for a while. I've been trading a little bit in and out. Yeah, like 2 cents, and it took a rip, came into reload zone, got a double. So like, yeah, Winner's one. Yeah, like 150%. So we've got a free position of this over at the old fund as an echo play. Haven't looked into it at all. Don't know myself. So do your own research. Winner is interesting, and it's probably just going to rip when RLB rips, and then not much. But it's way lower FPV. So if they've got something cooking there, casinos have a cycle. We're good. All in on underperformers. Yeah, Kevin Weiner, that's the extreme end of what I was just saying, where you're kind of like, fuck it. If everything's going to moon, and that's kind of why they do, though, because that is exactly the human nature, right? That's the thing. You're like seeing everything rip, and you're just like, oh, what hasn't ripped? Oh my god, did I just not get stopped out by $40, and we're just going to dump forever now? Whoa, tune in next week to watch It's on Graves. Let's go. Okay. Now that we've come off a little bit, I can tell you why I'm bearish on Bitcoin. Just kidding. But seriously, take a look at this daily RSI. It's spooky. I know there's some people out there who probably say something like, oh, RSI is designed to measure 11 candles. So if it's more than 11 candles, it's not a div. So I'm not going to call this a div. I'm just going to call it a major trend breakdown. This is the only reason, aside from like the Friday pump being sus, it was this that just made me think. God, am I really? I waited for that little 1 minute breakdown to have this conversation, but no. I do think we're going to go higher. I don't feel much better about my short hedge, but for what it's worth, confirmed daily bear div. I don't even know. Who cares if this is a bear div or not? Because it's just been trending up for a while, and then it broke that trend. It's like that. We'll see if it prints W today. I was looking at it today saying, oh, I think that's printed. I don't think it has. The RSI was actually higher today. So it shouldn't print until the daily close. So we'll see. That's kind of your bear case, and that's not that bearish. I think it would be great actually for a lot of people who want seats at the table. And that's obviously like people right now are going to call it cope. We say, it is coping. Like, bro, I am so exposed to this market. If it doesn't come down ever again, I'll be okay. Actually, I'm gonna leave that one on there, I think. Yeah, so if you want to be a bear, that RSI breakdown was kind of a warning sign. The sweep of the high on the long Thanksgiving Friday. And as somebody who has been staring basically at the 1 minute for like 3 days, just checking on the lower time frames, this was extraordinarily being on the short hedge. And I had like a sick entry. Like my entry just didn't get hit by like $40. So like, can't imagine the pain for anyone who is short, sideline, whatever, of this squeeze. I still think we rip higher. I'm not feeling like we're out of the woods on my little short hedge, but if we were going to break lower, it would be after some bullshit like we saw today, wouldn't it? Yeah. So we'll see. This trend line seems to be popping up a lot, so let's look at it. Everyone starts looking at it, it starts meaning more. Yeah, it's not really drawn correctly, so we're going to just draw it to fit. It has to fit the most recent touch, right? But realistically, it probably should probably have been something more like that, because those more earlier touches are more accurate, and then technically yesterday got way less pretty though. Anyways, any kind of short hedge, which I have one of, I like this cannot go above. In fact, after this stream, I'm probably going to drag it down to just above where it was. Save myself $40. But yeah, that's it. for that. That's it, 2 o'clock. But what's the case, right? Like, the Binance thing being resolved is pretty freaking bullish. I don't think anyone cares now if you see like SEC sued, whatever. Like, I feel like that's just deaf ears now. Everyone's like, yeah, cool. Like, you just suck at winning things. And even when you win, you just, you know, DOJ fined them $4 billion. Like, and now it's just business pretty much as usual. Let's be honest, for Binance. So, they'll have a watcher, they'll have an observer. So I don't know what the narrative is other than just boredom, bears, and manipulators, and whoever. If we were going to do something before an ETF approval in January, and I think I don't know. I feel like we're out of the woods on that initial window, right? There was talk a couple weeks ago on like the 9th. Yeah, we must be out of the woods. It's like the 28th. Oh my god, time is flying. So if this is the 10th, this is kind of the window where all of those ETF approval windows align again. And so my thinking was, if we were going to roll down, it would be more of a boredom thing, right? Be like, okay, it's not that it's bearish; it's just there's not that much new. Now, for those of you who like altcoins versus Bitcoin, I think this is a really hot range for us. In fact, as an altcoin lover, I don't really want to see us blast out of this range for more reasons than one. Yeah, I've got my short hedge in at the top, sue me, but also like I'm finally positioned for it to range. So like, could it just chill in range? But also because if it did dump, I don't think it will. But just say it did. I think it might. I'm not going to pretend it won't. But just say whatever happens, and then it's just like during those dip days, like alts will dip, and then typically during the consolidation that follows, they'll rip, right, and that's like your altcoin catching up window. And God forbid we ever swept that low. Like, that would be like a buy all altcoin type day. So keeping an eye on scenarios like that. Proud of myself for not puking out the hedge $40 below my own stop at break even. But if I was a guessing man, I'd say we are probably done for today, and then see if we can just build up some steam under this. That'd actually be sick. You don't really want to see the highs get taken like all in one, especially in the absence of some kind of like ETF announcement, because that's where it's like gets really sweepy and rejecty. You want to see like strength building up below this level. So for the bulls and the bears alike, stopping here is probably pretty good today. Build up some strength, even on low time. It doesn't have to be a 4-hour build up. Like there's nothing overtly bearish about this little dip here. Just riding the trend line up. And so I don't think I'm out of the woods. I'm probably going to get zapped here. And then I'm just back to my spot long futures flat positioning, and we'll roll from there. But yeah, and you kind of want it to do stuff like this right here. And then, that's power, right? Going straight through all that right away would have been like, oh shit, it was a trap. So yeah, I think bulls and bears both probably want to see us stop there. No, but I digress. I guess the question is like, if Bitcoin rips higher from here, how much higher can it go? First off, I think I've got my two GANs both with interesting areas around the 40K. I mean, the longer we wait, the lower this like next interaction becomes. And then a much more clean interaction on a GAN that we know is fucking is like 40 to 41K. And where is it? Here? 40 to 41. Same thing. So there's a lot of reasons to think that that would be our next location. Doesn't mean we have to zip up there. I mean, if we've learned anything from Bitcoin right now, it's like it's just not really in a big rush to do anything. It's just kind of like making new high and then chilling for a bit, making new high, chilling for a bit. Like a lot of people are having a hell of a time trading this. I've been doing okay. I've been getting into some really sick positions. I've been over trading a couple moments where I like get myself out a little early, like yesterday. But overall, like having a decent feel for this, feeling it lately. But it's a hell of a trade. I mean, it's not quite a range. It's not quite a trend. It's probably peak pain for a lot of people. And then the alpha really is just positioning yourself in those. So as this rips higher, probably just takes the lead for a little while. I don't want to sound too casual about a US based ETF, spot ETF, BlackRock, blah, blah, blah. Like, probably just eventually hit some crazy numbers. But even if Bitcoin 4X'd, I feel like I could outperform it with some other altcoin. What an altcoin would do during that 4X. We're all here for the multiples, but Bitcoin is the ruler of the castle. Yeah, gambling narrative isn't hot. It was an interesting Kevin Weiner's pointing out that gambling narrative isn't that hot right now. And I would agree because RLB is the gambling narrative and it's not pumping. So chicken or egg. Yeah, hello, pretty rich friends. But it's funny how gambling is like a weird like bear market narrative. It's like, oh, people are when people are poor, broke, and hungry, they just gamble. And it's like kind of true. So I guess that's it had some heat, but whatever. If it comes back, suddenly it's a hot narrative again. I just think it's cooked. All things considered, being totally fucking blunt with you, mate. It's cooked. There's just so many good looking charts with energy and rising volume and all that stuff. Points and points and points for the bulls. This one just has a lot of points for the bears. I feel like exit liquidity. If it turns out that I'm just mid curving it again and it doesn't, that's okay. I'm not going to get rich, on RLB from here right now. Or really any coin for that. I'm getting really good at coping with missed opportunities, guys. That's one of the things you have to be good at in crypto. As Tom Walsh pointed out earlier, he's just like, well, what do you do if you're in a bag, it's underperforming, and the rest of the market's ripping? Like, you are going to be bombarded. And this is what we'll probably have to wrap on today. I got a meeting coming up, but like, you will be bombarded constantly in this market with winners. People are going to be hitting you up, telling you about their winners. Twitter is going to be filled with all the guys talking about their wins. Everyone loves a good winner. They love to tweet about it, all the rest. And you're going to be sitting in tokens like a normal person. They're not always going to be winning every day, right? And if you try to play that musical chair and be on the leaderboard every day, you will end up chopped to bits. Raise your hand if you've ever done that. Ha ha ha. See? We're all in the same boat. So just learn from those mistakes of fallen ape. And, it's one thing to like stick to your guns. It's another thing to like identify a bad setup and a bad trade and a bad position and then like stay in it because you're in it. For example, like if I went and bought a coin today, let's just say I FOMO'd into TIA today and then it nuked. And I was like, oh man, like, I think it's going to rip higher just to be abundantly clear. My position for it to go higher. I actually didn't even buy it at some sweet little level down here. I bought it probably like, here, and here. But just say it's getting up to the highs here, and it's like whatever, and you buy it here, and then it just starts to rip down. Like, I mean, whatever time frames. You're like, oh, I'm investing for the cycle. Okay, that's different. I'm just saying, if you're trying to get in a trade and it's on the leaderboard in the next few days, and then you buy it and it just starts dumping, like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying, like, don't sit in a bad trade. Cut your losers. He is probably not one, as I just went on about it, like a cycling thing. But learn how to cut your losers. Learn how to hold on to your winners, even when they're not winning on any given day. These are all the things. So much easier said than done. So much easier. Last thoughts from Circa. He says, I am Circa and Kevin Weiner's GUAC. Just to clarify, I know. Okay. I did know Kevin Weiner, Full Stack Creative, Circa midstream. I was like, that's fucking Circa, because I see your ads on my Facebook feed. And I was like, damn it, there's his pretty face. So yeah, I got that. And for the record, you guys can come on Tuesdays if you want. You can roll with me. I was just saying before the stream to the director or producer, I was like, I don't even know how much I have to talk about it. Like, I wish the homies were here, especially because you guys are in the weeds. I'm just always dadding now. Throw me a scenario and I'll tell you how I would do it, but I'm not feeling up to speed. I feel like Steve Buscemi from that meme, backwards hat and the little thing, like, hello, fellow cool kids. Like, that's where I'm at right now with my like awareness of altcoins. In fact, on that note, I'm gonna run because we have a meeting at the fund for market call. We're gonna talk about altcoins and whatnot. It'd be cooler actually probably if we did this stream after that call, because then I could bring the alpha from all of our analysts into the call. Right now, you guys are getting me like pre-alpha. Anyways, hang out on the pit. Follow me on Twitter at randomtest555. And as always, if I find something spicy, I'll let you know about it after I've loaded all my bags. And then I'll dump them instantly for 2%. Just kidding. We don't do that around here. Anyways, like and subscribe to the videos, the channels, all the good things, boys and girls. Whatever you do from now until next time, always play from a position of strength.